Hello, I am Fernanda Hitchhiking Stars, and today we will be talking about the new moon. So a new moon in Cancer happening on the 17th of July 2023. So this is a very powerful new moon because it's in its own sign first and foremost. So the moon is the ruler of the sign of Cancer. So there is an emphasis whenever we have a new moon in the year, whenever we have a new moon in Cancer, that tends to be a powerful beginning of a cycle. So that's definitely there already, like right off the bat. But there are a few other things as I look at the chart of this new moon. There are a few other things that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you here. So first, let's look at that degree, that Sabian symbol for the degree. And the new moon happens at 24 degrees Cancer, but is a very late 24. So it's 24 degrees, 55 minutes of arc. So there are only 5 minutes to shift. So I will consider a 25 degree rather than a 24 because it's closer to 25 than to 24. So this is the symbol that I'm going to be looking at. So I'll look at the 25th degree of Cancer. And the Sabian symbol for that degree is guests are reading in the library of a luxurious home. So, well, that is a bit of a curious symbol there. I mean, we do have the word home, which is very Cancerian. You know that Cancer rules everything that has to do with home, a sense of belonging. So all of the classic traditional things that we can think of in relationship to Cancer are highlighted during this new moon. So we can set intentions because new moons represent a very, very beginning of a cycle. We can definitely set intentions on anything home related. Whatever we want, whatever improvements we want to. If we want to improve relationships with family members, with the family as a unit, or the place where we retreat, where we rest, all of that is represented by this new moon in Cancer. And I love that this symbol in particular talks about library and a home. But pay attention, it's not just a home, but a luxurious home. So this is already giving away some of the themes that would be very important in this cycle, especially considering that this cycle is the first one that will have Venus retrograde. So this new moon will be happening 6 days before Venus retrogrades. So Venus is already at 28 Leo. Leo, the sign of kings and queens and being special and luxury. I mean, Venus in Leo makes me think of luxury already, like appreciating luxurious things and etc., being treated as a queen or a king. So that's definitely represented by that Venus in Leo in the degree that it will be retrograding already. So guests are reading in the library of a luxurious home, and this symbol talks about our ability to relax, our ability to accept and reclaim luxury, our ability to retire into luxury, our ability to be able to do what we want. So those are some of the things that we can ponder, that we can reflect on during this new moon in particular. And reflect on what sort of goals or what sort of intentions we want to set connected to this. So what is luxury to you? What is luxurious to you? Are you able to accept it? Are you able to do that for yourself? Or is there a sense of guilt when you're doing that? And this is coming from a Virgo here, which, tends to have a sense of guilt whenever I'm overindulging. So, and again, I'm saying here overindulgence. I mean, not every luxuriousness will be overindulgence. So getting clarity around luxury, around what's self-indulgence or not to you? What's important? What are your values when it comes to self-care? Because that's another one that I can think of. For Venus in Leo, luxurious things are connected with self-care and are builders of a sense of worth as well. I'm worthy, that commercial, I can't remember which one, but there is that phrase, I'm worthy because you're worth it. So I think that's Venus. It's very Venus in Leo there. So this is one of the powerful themes and flavors of this new moon. So anything to do with home, with family, with loved ones, and your emotional life, but with a little Venusian colored part as well. It's like we will definitely have that Venusian inquiry going on for the whole cycle. And not only the whole cycle, but for a few cycles, as Venus will turn direct only on the 3rd of September. So we have a couple of months there of going inwards. And Venus will go retrograde from 28 Leo to 12 Leo. So it will stay in the sign of Leo. We're definitely going to be going backwards and forwards with these questions about self-worth, personal expression, self-expression, creativity, So maybe retreating into luxury could be for you who have a family to look after and a child to look after, but you retreat into the luxurious hour of being able to focus on your art, creativity, which is Leonine as well, like a moment that you can focus on your personal self-expression. So the luxury here will definitely vary amongst us, depending on who we are, what we do, our current situation is. But it's a great time to think about it and to think about our desires as well. Do we desire? What are the things that we desire that are not connected with our survival, that are beyond our survival? Are we able to treat ourselves every now and then? And how do we do that? And I think this Venus retrograde will definitely invite us to think about that for longer than this new moon. But this new moon, because it's that moment, that beginning, the kickstart of a lunar cycle, it has the power. It has the power of beginning, and so of a birth of something. So we can definitely focus our attention for however long you can during that day. If you can do rituals, that's perfect. You can set this start like for in a right way for you, in a powerful way for you, to create the positive change that this retrogradation is representing, to review what we do these things, to really review in order to change them, in order to readapt them. So that new moon has that power as a beginning. Now, another thing that I observe as I look at this chart as well, the flavors of this chart, are all the aspects that this new moon is doing. And the new moon is forming aspects with the three big planets, what we call the outer planets. So we have a sextile between the new moon and Uranus. So Uranus is a 22 Taurus. So there's a 60 degrees between the new moon and Uranus. So our ability to invent, our ability to reinvent ourselves, to take some space as well as we need in this, set, the family set, all the Cancerian things. It's like catering for emotional needs, but also having a sense of autonomy as well, which is also important. And that Uranus, the sextile to Uranus, is saying that's possible. There is also a trine, 120 degrees to Neptune. So Neptune is at 27 degrees Pisces. So there's a kind of a close trine there, 2 degrees orb trine between the new moon and Neptune. So there's something about transcending or getting in touch with our longings or dreaming, getting in touch with our creativity as well. emotional empathy, emotional healing as well for this new cycle. All of that is under the spotlight with that trine to Neptune. We can relate to the Neptunian archetype more harmoniously based on this new moon. And obviously, your personal chart will give us a much greater picture of how you're going to be dealing with Neptune during this cycle. But as a whole, this cycle is harmoniously related to Neptune. And because it's emphasizing the water element there as well, there's definitely something about creativity, emotional healing, exploring our emotions, expressing our emotions as well, healing our emotions, forgiving. I think Neptune can have something to do with forgiveness as well. And the third big aspect is this new moon forming an opposition to Pluto. So we're not talking a sextile or a trine here, but we're talking about an opposition. So we could also face some of our biggest fears during this cycle. Some of our biggest fears in connection to everything that I've been discussing so far. So are we fearful of taking a space or being alone for a little bit to do our thing? Are we fearful that we're going to be judged if we have our little bits of luxury, if we indulge ourselves a little bit? Or are we overly addicted to indulgence and we're using that as a escape from deeper issues? So we're obsessed about, indulgence and etc. So those questions will be there as well with this new moon, and we can explore them because of that opposition. We can see it being reflected in the situations that we go through as well. So we can do deeper work during this cycle because it's represented by this opposition to Pluto as well. So we can reintegrate. We can do a little bit of a soul retrieval during this cycle because of this opposition, right? So the challenge there is to do things in a more intuitive and yin sort of way. We're more receptive, rather than just marching, forward. It's like there's a sense of finding out and doing a lot of internal meditation, looking inwards, perceiving, feeling, dreaming about, and seeing the things that are not obvious. That I think is also connected there with this new moon, with Mars opposition Saturn. Saturn in Pisces is something about the dream realm, the watery realm that we're going to be learning about during this cycle. Don't be scared of the chaos that we might find within us, but navigate that chaos. Use that trine between the new moon and Neptune to sail and to trust. To trust your instincts and your feelings as well. But don't forget, find out what your values are when it comes to luxuriousness and your ability to relax, being able to do what you want. Those are some of the key themes of this new moon that we can look within us and find out a little bit more about. Okay, so that's it for today. That's it for this new moon. I hope you have a wonderful new moon and a beautiful cycle, lunar cycle. And I'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye.